Wow, good evening fellow Kenyans. My name is Steven. Nawakaribisha wote kwa hii channel ya Swift Media. I have come here with a prophetic word concerning the nation. As you may all know, we are entering into a season whereby we need to elect a new president, the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. And one thing I know is that a president of a nation, first and foremost, before that president is elected by the people, it is God who chooses. It is God who anoints, ordains, and anoints a president. So that is why I've come here. I have been in prayer concerning that particular subject for the last 3 months. And my prayer has been, what is the perfect will of God? Who is it that God has chosen, appointed, and anointed to take over from our fourth president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, when he exits office? May you be blessed as you listen to this message. Thank you, sir, for hosting me.
Karibu sana.
Yeah.
So, tumekuwa tukiona vitu mingi zikifanyika.
Yeah.
And of course, tunajua next year ni mwaka wa uchaguzi.
Sure.
Ni nini hiyo haswa unataka kuambia Wakenya?
Okay. Haswa, my point is direct. It is concerning the one person, because that seat or that office can only be occupied by only one person at any given time. And out of all the millions of Kenyans, it is only one person that can occupy that office. So there is this one man that God has appointed, that God has anointed and ordained to be the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. That is why I have come to appear here in Swift Media, and that is why I've been in prayer for the last 3 months, just seeking the perfect will of God. And ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, I want you to know and I want you to understand, it is God that chooses a king. It is God who chooses a leader. Nobody can occupy that throne unless God has appointed them, ordained them, and anointed them to sit on that throne, sir. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are so many aspirants, watu ambao wanawania hicho kiti. Kuna Raila Odinga, William Ruto, kuna watu wengine kama kina Jimmy Wanjigi na wengine ambao wanajitokeza. Kwa hiyo list yako, mmoja wao yuko?
First and foremost, allow me to congratulate those ladies and gentlemen ambao wamejitokeza, wame-express interest in the seat. But now, there is the will of man and there is the will of God. As I've been praying about this thing, out of all the aspirants, the leading aspirants, that is Raila Amolo Odinga, William Samoei Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi, all those aspirants, all of them ambao wamejitokeza sahi, none of them has the blessing of God, has the approval of God to be the 5th president. The one that God has chosen today, he is not even popular, not even known. That person is little known, but I can assure you, I have stayed in the presence of God for 3 months. I can assure you this one thing. That man, God has appointed him. God has ordained him. God has anointed him to be our 5th president, sir.
Labda unaweza tuambia huyo mtu ni mtu wa aina gani? Mwanasiasa, ni msanii, anahusiana na vitu gani? Kwa sababu umesema kwa popular kidogo, anahusiana na biashara gani? Okay, huyu jamaa number 1, huyu ni mwanabiashara. Hako kwa hizo sectors ati msanii ama nini, he's a businessman. Profession yake ni businessman. Na number 2, this person currently is not even in government. He does not have any government post. You see? So it's not Jimmy Wanjigi, kama vile watu wanasema.
It is not Jimmy Wanjigi. And then another, number 3, let us continue before we say the names. Number 3, this man is a young person. It is not an old person. He's a young man, not as old as like Jimmy Wanjigi. Number 4, allow me to say these details. Number 4, this person is still from the house of Ng'ombe. He's a Kikuyu, this man. Number 5, this person comes from Kiambu County. That is where he was born, he was raised, that is where he was raised from. He comes from Kiambu County. That is number 5. Yeah, now number 6, obviously I have said it before, he's not as popular right now. Nobody is talking about him. Nobody hajakuwa popular right now, but God has akona jina. Yeah.
So, ni mtu mzee ama kijana?
Huyo mtu si mzee, ni kijana. Approaching 40 now. approaching 40. But Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, that guy has been approved by God. He has been appointed and ordained by God to be the favorite president. And before we even go to many details, why is this man, young man, why? One of the vision that God has, the main vision that God has for this man, for the nation of Kenya, is revival. And many people, when they hear the word revival, they only think on the gospel side. No, revival, absolute revival in terms of economic recovery. You see, we have just come from Corona season. Yeah, economic revival, all kinds of revival, not only the part of gospel. And that person is a Christian, he's a God-fearing person. Yeah.
Is he married?
Yeah?
Is he married?
Yeah, he's married. He's married.
Na mbona nahisi kwamba unajua sometimes vitu huwa mnasema ndio. Unapata wewe prophet unasema. Alafu kuna watu pale nje wanasema hizi prophecy ni za uongo. Wewe unachukuliaje vitu kama hizo?
Okay, let me say this. Prophecy is true. Prophecy is ni kitu inakuanga ya ukweli. God really speaks. And at the end of the day, it is not only prophecy that is doubted. People doubt everything. So, ni kawaida ya watu kudoubt vitu. Even the prophecy, even ni jambo lingine lolote, but I want to assure this. Okay, may you allow me to say some of the things I have prophesied before and they came to pass in Kenya. It was just the other day on March 28th. I issued a prophecy and I said, I have seen 49 days before me. And God is saying within the next 49 days from today, 28th of March, from that day, 28th of March, there shall be a judgment that will negatively affect Uhuru Kenyatta, our current president. We waited. Can you imagine? Out of the 49 days, on the 47th day, that is when the prophecy came to pass. That was the famous BBI judgment. It came to pass.
Some 2 months ago, I met a prophet, naitwa Mwangi. Na yuko kwa hii channel pia. And he said the same thing. Ati BBI haitapita. And it happened.
Yeah.
So are you trying to say that hata hizi vitu za huduma namba and whatever, it's all about hizo prophecy? Ama labda ni mtu, labda umesikia fununu kutoka kwa mtu mwenye kwa serikali?
Specifically, let me not speak about huduma namba, because I've never prayed about it. I only speak about what God has told me about. So about huduma namba, God has never spoken to me about it. But BBI, I started prophesying last year. It shall not come to pass. And even when they appeared after that judgment, I said it shall not sail through. It came to pass. Okay, another prophecy and came to pass. You know, Kenyans, recently there was interviews for the new Chief Justice of Kenya. And there were 11 candidates that have come out with interest to become the next Chief Justice of Kenya. Out of the 11 candidates, even before the interviews had begun, I went to prayer. It was on a Saturday when the interviews were starting on that Monday, following Monday. So on a Saturday, I went to prayer. I saw the face of God. And after seeking the face of God the whole day, God spoke to me and said, go and issue a word to the nation that the next Chief Justice, according to my perfect will, out of the 11 candidates, it shall be this girl from Meru, that is called, we call her Mother Kome. And the interviews were starting on Monday. The interviews went for like 2 weeks. At the end of the day, the prophecy came to pass. Mother Kome is our Chief Justice today. Recently, just a minute, recently, ladies and gentlemen, you remember in one of our neighboring countries, the nation of Zambia, in August, there was a presidential election there. And so I prayed about it. And when I went to the presence of God, I came out and I prophetically declared that the opposition candidate, Hakainde Hichilema, is going to be the next president of Zambia. Hey, everybody was saying the incumbent, Edgar Lungu, is the one who's going to win. I promise you today, as I prophesied, that guy, Hakainde Hichilema, is the president of Zambia today. That prophecy came to pass.
Kumekuwa pia na fununu zingine, watu wakisema kwamba rais anatafuta nafasi ya kuwa prime minister next year. Kulingana na maombi yako, umemwona popote kwa serikali inakuja kuingia?
Uhuru Kenyatta I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna continue. Yeah, according to what I have seen. Yeah, right now we are in a season whereby we are transitioning to the next president. It is not. Let me say, even if he becomes, for now, it is not the perfect will of God for Uhuru Kenyatta to continue anywhere, whether prime minister or president. Yeah.
And so unajaribu kumaanisha kwa hawa watu wote wanawania hicho kiti. Hakuna hata mmoja mwenye ataingia kwa hicho kiti.
According to my prayer and the way God has spoken to me, none of them has the blessing and the approval of God to be the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya. And let me explain this. People can like a person very much, but after people liking that person very much, God aseme X, aseme hapana. At the same time, people can reject a certain person so much, but at the end of the day, God anasema huyo ndio nimeapprove. So all these candidates, there is no one that God has approved to be the next president of Kenya. And as I'm speaking that, I'm speaking from the perspective of the perfect will of God. Yeah.
Before tuambie jina huyo mtu. Ni nini unaweza ambia Wakenya?
Fellow Kenyans, what I can say, the best thing you can ever do in this life is to just accept the will of God. Just accept what God wants for our nation. God knows what is best for our nation. Kenya is a nation of destiny. Kenya is, prophetically speaking, Kenya is regarded as the second Israel. Kenya, in fact, prophetically speaking, Israel is God's firstborn. While Israel is God's firstborn, but while Kenya is God's adopted child. There is a destiny for this nation. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Kenyans, I beseech you by the mercies of God, please let us bow down, regardless of your interests. Let us accept the will of God. I want to speak to the candidates, Raila Odinga. Humble yourself. It is not the will of God for you to be president of this nation. William Samoei Ruto, humble yourself. It is not the perfect will of God for you to be the president of this nation. Musalia Mudavadi Wycliffe, please, humble yourself, sir. It is not the will of God for you to be the president of this nation. And all the other presidential candidates, humble yourselves, because that is not the will of God for you to be president of this nation.
There are some of them who use money. Kununua hizo kura. Na hiyo nayo unaichukulia.
Okay, sasa wajua hiyo kitu huwezi, all I know, haki ya Mungu ama the will of God, mapenzi ya Mungu huwezi inakanunua na pesa. Hata umwage pesa aje, at the end of the day, God himself hakuna vile atatokea and he's gonna frustrate you. And it is not right. Why don't you just follow the will of God? Yeah.
What is the name of this guy?
Yeah?
What is the name of this guy?
Okay.
Ni brown skin na ni ama ni dark skin? Tuambie hizo zote sasa.
That guy, I have said, he's a young man. He is a Kikuyu from Kiambu County. And he's a young man. Yet God has approved him. He's not brown skinned, he's dark skinned. Yeah.
Jina?
Yeah?
Jina lake?
Jina, one of the names is, he has a name, Liri Kenga.
Eh?
Liri Kenga. The surname is Wangai.
Wangai?
Yeah.
Wow. Kuna kingine unataka kuambia Wakenya?
Yeah?
Na kitu kingine unataka kuambia Wakenya? Ama tumalizie hapo?
Then that is the man that God has chosen for us, fellow Kenyans, from Kiambu County. He's a young man. He may not have all the grammar and all the glory that other people have, but that is the perfect will of God for our nation. And even the Lord was telling me, because of the challenges, the way this person is going to sit on that throne and rule Kenya, it is gonna be so much supernatural. Because this guy, he may go through some persecution, but at the end of the day, that is the person that is going to sit on that throne. Yeah. Israel, Njeru, Liri Kenga, Wangai. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.